Hello, here we are guys, back for another tutorial here from the third tee. We got Sunshine Glades, par 5. This is hole 4. And kind of two ways to go about doing this. You might need a very good tailwind to get down that left side into that last fairway from the last tee deck. Something I'm at least going to look at, see how close I can get, especially with my opponent only using a power 1 ball. One of the things that you might want to, think about is, what ball selection to actually use. As I mentioned, my opponent using a power 1 ball, that could come to bite you big time on the shootouts. So something that you do want to at least highly be considering. Let's take a look at what this looks like. There is going to be two ways to go about doing this. With a tailwind, I could probably go for this, but it would be the only real chance would be with a tailwind. So there's about 5 rings. I'm going to go right about 6 rings, maybe with some curl. And as I mentioned, this is probably going to be an isolated case. If it's not a tailwind, you'll just want to kind of lay up like my opponent. But as you can see, we're barely going to kind of just get up into the fairway there. There's not really a benefit to getting over here other than giving yourself, a guaranteed short iron, long iron, as opposed to a wood shot. But here you can see, opponent here gets a tailwind, so still going to easily be able to get to the green. It's kind of, if you miss this fairway, it's going to give you a 50-50 shot, because tailwind case, you get to the green, headwind case, you can't. So here you can see, my opponent benefits greatly from the wind at hand. So something that you do want to be thinking about is keeping it out of trouble because of this, risk-reward thing. You really don't have any knowing whether or not you're going to be able to get it up here and still get it to the green. As I mentioned, had it been a headwind, no chance. So you're really kind of playing a coin flip type scenario in that situation. But let's take a look here. I'll usually play this very flat lie. So, I want to size this up. And, I kind of feel that it's kind of towards mid-club a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of settle on that number. Keep in mind that you're going to want to play some kind of wind effect on top of that. So you can see what I'm doing with my guide, kind of offsetting it here. Almost 10 rings. There's 12 rings. We're at about, you can see I was about 9. The great ball's probably going to deflect it off to the right. I'm assuming I had everything kind of factored in there with my ball guide all set. And, the great ball really did cost me. Had a feeling it would. You can see that my pulls were pretty much kind of 9.5 and then 2.5. So the way that additively worked out was, pretty close to 12 rings, but I had to do it a little bit different because my pull was a little bit short and I was getting tight on time. Now, one of the things that you want to be careful in these new tours, you can see that the needle is much faster. So you do got to be a little bit more careful. There you can see my opponent catches a perfect ball. Not to mention it was only a 6 wind. Kind of lucked out in that sense that it was almost as small as a wind as you could get. So it really did, keep it as easy as possible. But do kind of, consider all these things, because the needle speed now is much faster for the wedge and short iron. So you do want to be a little bit more careful and get yourself set up just a little bit more quicker. But, good luck with that hold there, guys, and catch you guys on the shootout coming up.